Are you someone who wants to become a product manager or want to get into product marketing role, program manager role, but you're worried that you don't have any product manager experience, product management experience? How are you going to break into the industry? Well, this video is going to answer exactly that question, because we have the guest whose name is Tejaswini. She's a Walmart product manager. She has 0 years of product management experience, but she still broke into that industry, and she exactly talks about step by step what steps she took for her job search strategy and how she broke into product management industry. So I hope you find this valuable, and if you do, please consider subscribing. And now I'll let you enjoy the video. Before we start, let's do a quick intro. Where are you from? Where are you right now? What do you do? And fun stuff about you.
Hi, Yudi. Thank you. So my name is Tejaswini, and I'm currently right now in Boston, but I actually work out of Dallas. I am originally from Coimbatore, which is a small place in Tamil Nadu, India. 5 months back, I completed my master's. So I finished my master's in Management Information Systems from the University at Buffalo in New York.
Nice. And now what do you do?
Oh, so currently I work as a product manager with Walmart, which was
Nice.
like my dream job. And I'm like super excited to even be talking about it. So my bachelor's was completely unrelated to what I do now. It was in electronics and communications engineering from this university called PSG.
And did you have any work experience as a
Yes.
product manager before?
No, not as a product manager.
Okay, so what
But
was your work
yes,
experience?
initially I started off as a systems engineer at Infosys. At the same time, I had like a blog that I
Hmm.
was I started the blog like in 2019, I guess, and it was a travel blog. And then I loved like marketing, and I wanted to learn more about it as well. So my next role was that of like a digital marketing, come a little bit of product
Hmm.
marketing kind of a role.
Hmm.
And after that, when I came for my master's, I decided that if I'm getting into something, it must be either product marketing or product management, because both were
Nice.
like equally interesting.
How many total years of experience did you have
Three.
before? 3 years of experience. Okay. Let's move on to your product management job search strategy. Like, obviously, you were very focused. You knew that that's the role you kind of want to get into.
Yes.
What is when did you start your job search strategy, and what's the first thing you did in when you decided?
Cool. So here I really have to thank you, because even before I came to the US, I was binge watching your videos, and then I was
Yeah.
so nervous because new country, and until now I've never stayed away from parents also. So
Mm,
like when I came here, I wanted to make sure that I was aligned and I was doing the right things. And from your
mm.
videos and like people who spoke on them, I learned that day one you have to start your job search,
Nice.
no matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did. And the same Excel sheet strategies that you've spoken about, multiple
Love
people
it.
have. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I always feel so proud when people actually follow the steps, because I'm like, it works. It
It
works.
does, see live example.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is not scripted at all. I didn't know what
No,
she was
guys,
gonna say.
you didn't pay me for this.
No, no. So this is awesome. So okay, good. Let's walk through when you obviously
Yes.
assuming you started day one, you
Yes.
started your job search, and
Yes.
what's the first thing
First
you
step.
worked on? Yeah.
Yes. So initially, I wanted to make a list of the companies that align with what I want. First one is definitely sponsorship. So
Mm. Yeah.
sponsorship was a criteria. Work-life balance was definitely a criteria for a person like me, because I'm not a workaholic. At
Mm.
the same time, so like by that list, I myself had to cut down on a lot of like
I love
company.
that you actually worked on the clarity that what exactly you want, because not a lot of people usually go for like, okay, I'm going to do this. They are like, I don't care, I just need a job, so I'm going to just apply to everything.
My first criteria was H1B. So
H1B. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I made sure that I made a big list. So it's like 100 companies. And what I did was actively network.
And so how were you finding those 100 companies? Like, how did you find those companies?
Yes. So hold on. So there's this one website, right? That also somebody on your video only spoke about. Yes. It's called myvisajobs.com. So on this website, you can kind of like search through the names of the different companies you're interested in, and it'll also give you a list of the companies that have sponsored H1B visas to
Mm,
students. So this kind of really helped me out filter it helped me filter the companies that I want to apply for. And then I actively networked. So by actively network, I mean I would set up half an hour or 1 hour every day to just reach out to people on LinkedIn. But people in the sense, they were also like a target group. First, trying to understand if the company's values match with mine and if I'd be a good fit there. Because though I wanted to get into product, I also wanted the marketing element to be part of the role, right?
Mm,
So the role also had to be like kind of aligned with what I wanted. So first, I would first send like a message saying, can we chat about the role if there's a role open on your team? And
mm,
I would send this message not only to recruiters but also to like senior VPs or directors.
mm,
And I use LinkedIn Premium.
mm.
So I would highly recommend people to use
Yeah,
LinkedIn Premium
it's
also.
worth the investment.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of students probably get free versions and things like that. But yeah,
Yes.
regardless, go for LinkedIn Premium because I think you get 45 emails or
Yes.
15 or whatever.
15.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
15.
Yeah. Now I don't know. Now I've unsubscribed.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most people do. So there's two questions in networking because everybody says this. I've said it multiple
Yes.
times that networking is the key.
Mhm.
Um, you are obviously an extrovert person, so networking comes
Is that
very.
that obvious?
It is that obvious. It comes natural to you. But there are introverts like
Yes.
me. I'm
Like,
an introvert.
no way. What?
I
Really?
I am. Yeah. So it is very shocking for a lot of people. But I am an introvert, and there are people like me who are an introvert and who don't know what to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to ask.
Yes.
So, what's your advice for those introverts or people who are shy or even extrovert? Like, one,
Yes.
finding the people is easy. Like, yeah, you go to LinkedIn, go to Walmart, see all the product managers,
Yes.
go reach out to them. But then, what do you say? What do you say? Plus,
Yes.
I know, I'm sure not everybody responded to you.
Of course, not everybody responded to me. I would reach out and I had a template that I
Mm,
used. And anybody, extrovert or introvert, can definitely do this as a task, right?
mm,
Like it's for yourself.
yeah,
And the more you connect, I know that once you send out the template, the next step for an introvert that would be really like, oh my gosh, should I do it? Would be setting up that chat or that
yeah, yeah.
one on one.
Mm,
That's the time. I know it's difficult, but you're doing it for yourself, right? And that's when you
mm,
talk to them to try and understand the role, if you would suit that role, if that role would suit you, because it is a two-way street at the end of the day. And without that, if you just apply and then you also clear the interview and you go into the role and you don't like the role, that's also
mm,
on you because you didn't do the research.
yeah.
So just, I know it's slightly difficult, but at least the first process is easy. Sending out that message is easy, and after that, slowly prep yourself, talk to your friends. Mock interviews
Do
really
you
help
mind
me.
sending me that template so I can
Of
put it
course,
in the
sure.
description so that people can use it if they want to? Yeah.
Sure. So I use two, three different versions, one for recruiters and one for hiring managers.
Nice. Yeah.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, for sure.
Right, right, and I agree with this approach because I've said it in my videos, and when I was switching my role last year, I did the same thing, exact same thing. I made the list of companies. I went through what I really want to do, the role clarity, and then I started reaching out to hiring managers because they are
Mhm.
more than happy. A lot of people think that the recession and all this is going on, but there are still companies who
They're
struggle
hiring.
to find people,
It's
and
true.
it's even harder when, like, you don't have direct knowledge of what the person is. So if you reach out, I think most people are willing to help. There will be people who won't respond to you, so don't
Yes.
be disappointed, don't be
Don't be
discouraged.
disappointed. Oh,
Yeah,
yes. True.
yeah. So
That is
but
so true. Yeah.
yeah, but there are people who will be like, yeah, sure, I'll spend, like, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. But when you spend that 30 minutes, make sure you are ready to ask what you need to ask. And
Adding on to that, I had a list of questions that
mm,
I had prepared. And if it was going to be about a particular company, I would research about that company, because
mm.
otherwise, what are going to be your talking points? You can't always ask them about their dog or the weather.
Right, right.
Yeah. That is very important. And that also kind of shows how much interest you have in the company.
Mm,
And
yeah. And
mm,
what kind of conversation would you have? Like, give me some examples.
sure. So, first, I would ask them for like a 15-minute coffee chat. And then, if
Mm,
they agree, as soon as they come on screen, I would introduce myself and I'd say, thank you so much for your time, because I know how busy you are and you still offered to talk to me. And then I would get into the details of what I I'm looking for in this role, and I would ask them if what I'm saying is exactly what the job description is saying, because sometimes, especially in product management, I have to underline this
Mm,
here,
yeah.
because product management can be so different in different companies. It can,
Yes.
like, the roles and responsibilities can vary like crazy. So that was something I did, and after I go a little bit into depth about my intro, they would be more curious to understand what skills am I going to bring into the table, to kind
Mm,
of see and match if there's some alignment. And if they really think, oh, okay, this girl has some stuff, they will immediately push it to the recruiter, and then they'll schedule an interview. And that is why I'm saying networking and coffee chats have really, really helped me, because that one on one where they see your personality on screen, that is like a direct path to interviews.
right. But I also like the approach. It's not like you are reaching out to get a job referral. You're reaching out to understand the role, understand the job description, and making sure it aligns with you. You align with that role. And
Yes,
because of your conversation, the manager feels like you might be actually good fit. Let me push it to
push
it.
it. Yes.
And if they don't, then you can actually ask for it. But at least don't start with like, can you
Oh,
refer me?
no, big mistake.
Okay, cool. So the first is H1B sponsored company list. Second is figuring out the role clarity and
Yes,
company matching with what you vision, your values are.
yes.
Then networking. What's the next step?
The next step is follow up, which don't people don't do.
Mm,
So immediately after the interview, if you still don't hear back, there was just this one message that I would send out saying, "Hey, this is if we had had like that chat where I spoke to them, and if it's a company that really interested me, and after that call, I feel like, oh, this role might be a great fit, then I would send up that follow up message." For that also, I had like a template,
mm,
because all of these things you can't like keep typing all the time, right? It's better to have it systemized. So
right.
immediately after that, I would send up a follow up message, and I think I missed a point. I would also send my resume with,
Mm,
so
mm,
that they know, and they can match, and they can send it to the recruiters to see if the skills match with what the director wants in that
mm.
candidate. And after this, even after the follow up, if there's an interview, then next would be the preparation for the interview.
So when you applied for jobs, was it all through networking or was it
No.
combination of networking plus online?
No, no. As much as I was really into networking, I was also a very scared student, if I
Mm,
would not. So
yeah,
I was also definitely applying. But
right.
for me, the conversions to interviews have been more through the networking
Mm,
strategy. But I have definitely applied on the portal
online.
also.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
through a referral. And
Yeah.
sometimes referrals have also worked for me, but I wouldn't say like, oh, this is foolproof. Anybody who refers you, you'll get an interview. That's not true.
Right. Yeah, that's not true at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you, so I'm assuming you got more than Walmart interview call. Like that
Yes.
was, I'm assuming that. And so, and those calls were combination of both. So because
Yes,
the
of
main
course.
reason is because of your resume. At least for the online part of application, referral makes sense because they have already told
Yes.
recruiter. So the screening part doesn't really, affect your call
Yes,
interview call. But online one, the only way for someone to judge you is through your resume.
of course.
How did you work on your resume?
Step number one, if you already have a resume, run it by your seniors. They will be able to tell you, or you could also send it to Yudi or me.
Yeah, 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 100%. Yes.
Yes. And second thing that really helped me was, not a lot of people know this, but on LinkedIn, there's this feature called Resume Builder.
Mm,
So it's not, I don't think it's a premium feature. Anybody can like get
do it.
onto it.
Yeah.
Yes, once you upload your resume onto LinkedIn, it will kind of give you a list of keywords that are missing in your resume for that particular role. So I could also type product manager or product marketing manager or data analyst, and based on what my resume already has, it will put a check mark to all the good keywords, and it will suggest a few that are missing. So
Mm,
I felt like once I inculcated or added them to the list, I started receiving more calls. And the second thing that I would recommend is, there's this website called VMock.
mm,
Yes, so I think it is paid, but like from my college, it was like they paid for it for the students.
Okay.
So VMOC was definitely super helpful because that will like pass through the ATS, right? Is that what it's called?
Application screening system, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
tracking system. Yes, whatever it's
ATS,
called.
ATS,
Yes, ATS.
ATS. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would pass through it, and it would so it will give you, once you add your resume, it will go over your resume and it'll kind of suggest minor changes, even alignment, keywords, etc., etc. And once you cross the score of I think 80 or 90, that's like foolproof, definitely going through the system. So if they like your resume, they will call you back, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna add to this. There's another website called resumeworded.com.
oh yes.
I've mentioned it, featured them many times in my. It's free, but there's also paid version.
Mm-hmm.
Paid version is not as expensive, but if
Okay.
free version will also give you the same thing, which Tejaswin is saying, that it'll score your resume. And the cool feature of resume worded is, like, say if you like some job description and
Mm-hmm.
like this is a job I want to apply, you copy paste the job description, you put it in one text box, then next text, and then you upload your resume. It's going to match how many keywords matches, and then it will tell you probability of if it's going to pass the
Oh,
ATS or not.
that's so cool.
It is super cool, and it has the same feature for LinkedIn as well. So like it will rank your LinkedIn profile, it will tell you what to change and all of that. So
Mhm.
I would highly recommend. I'll put the link in the description. It's not paid for, like I don't get paid for them, so not sponsored at all, but I love the tool and I've used it for
Nice.
myself. I know many people have done it. Key part is, again, reaching out to me, Tejaswini, other product managers, because
Yes.
especially for people who are in product management industry, you should also reach out to them and ask them, like, hey, can you spend 15 minutes to, sometimes you don't need to get a job referral, but
That's
maybe you
true.
can get mentorship on your resume, and ask them, can you look at it, can you tell me if this, you will get me an interview at least for this resume,
That's so
what
true.
changes would you make? So yeah, no, 100%, I love it. So you made your resume, those are some of the tips. What are some of the things you have seen or mistakes you would say that avoid these things?
I did not have a summary on mine, but I can't advise if you have to have it or not. But because I took off my summary, I had more space for like a separate skills column, and I
Mm,
highly recommend this. No matter how many times you repeat the same words on your resume, just because it's a keyword, if you just add it at the bottom or at the top, saying like a separate subheading called skills, and within that you kind of go over each section, like social media skills, if you're good at SEO or social media marketing, add it there. And then data analytics, if you are into Tableau or like Power BI, more tools, add them there. And then like separate sections for everything, but a consolidated skills section, because that's
mm.
like giving the recruiter a very, what to say, like an overview of what you are or what you know.
Right. Yeah,
So
and again, the same. Even if you don't want to give the recruiter, I would say that's the way for adding all the keywords you want to add, like all the fancy
true.
keywords, like product marketing and any kind of like alpha, beta
Yes,
testing and UX testing and this and that. And you can easily spot those keywords in the
yes,
job description. So just
so
look at the
true.
job description, copy paste those in your skills.
Yes.
Obviously, don't just fake it, because in resume, I mean, in the interview, hiring managers will ask you like, oh, you have written this,
Obviously.
well, can you explain me
Yeah,
what it is? So have, be prepared to answer that as well. But
true.
love it. So resume is done, you
Yes.
obviously reach out, you applied online, you also applied through referrals, and you
Mhm.
started getting calls. Let's talk about the interviews, like for product management in general. Like, how did you prepare for
Oh,
product
prepare for it?
management?
Okay, yeah, sure. So, as I mentioned, because my course also involved like a product management like elective. As
Mm.
part of that, oh, my professor was amazing. So, I think I would really give it to him. He would break down, not just like they didn't just make us understand, but we actively worked on a whole product by ourselves. Like
Love
I
it.
Yes, so I had an idea, and then I kind of made a prototype for it. That was also based on like job search, because we were
Mm,
all really struggling. So I took that pain point, and then I was trying to build a software that would help students, especially because on LinkedIn and all, we don't have these filters, right? Like
mm.
H1B or whatever. So it was that kind of a product, a software product.
Right, like
Because I
an,
worked,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
But because I worked on it, I knew each stage, and I felt like
Mm.
I had already managed a product, created a prototype, did the marketing for it. And so, because that was part of the curriculum, that really helped me. But apart from that, definitely for prep, I used a couple of books. But my favorite book is How to Land a Product Manager Job in Tech
Yeah.
by
Oh, I
Gail.
don't have it.
Cracking the
I
PM
usually
interview.
have that. Yeah. Yeah. It's called How to Crack PM Interviews by
Yes.
Gail.
And also, there's this one portal called Exponent.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
love their videos. I think definite go, at least from me. I know some people find their course like pretty expensive. You can
Mhm.
actually email them to see if they have like student discounts. Do
Yeah.
whatever jugaad you can.
Yeah.
But their course is amazing.
Like you said, even if you buy that book, I think the book covers extensively
Definitely.
so many topics.
So true.
Exactly. Like it even also have resume templates.
Yes,
Uh, it has cover letter templates. It also has what are the Google interview, Microsoft
exactly.
interview
Faith, yes.
questions. Then
Meta,
it'll tell you how to structure your answer for system design question, how to
yes.
structure your answer for.
Behavior
Yeah,
and
see, I've read the
analytical
book.
estimation.
Yeah, right,
That's
right.
what I love about the book. It's so like strategic. It's like you
Yeah,
go section by section. But again, one point I'd like to stress here is no matter which book you read or how many videos you watch, like unless and until you go and attend a mock interview, or you start interviewing other people and they interview you, and then if you have like a friend circle that's preparing for product, you all sit together and then crack your heads over a problem.
mm, mm.
Best approach ever.
Even break it down the interview prep. First step is obviously do some form of product management project which will
Yes.
give you a clear understanding of what does product manager does.
Yes.
So that's just a concept understanding. Then book.
And also, it's very important because in the interviews, what else will you showcase
Right,
as
if you
something
don't
that
have
you've
any
done?
experience,
Yes.
correct. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that definitely, and especially if it's a pain point that's bothering you and you work on it, nothing like it.
Yeah,
Like,
because that's exactly what product manager's role
yes,
is, to figure out what
customer
is the
pain point.
problem they are trying to solve, and
Exactly.
are we building the product for the right problem. So love it. So yeah, so figuring out the role clarity, building some form of product with your problem statement,
Yes.
understanding what product manager does, then books, courses,
Yes.
videos online,
Mock
mock
interview.
interviews, and then obviously your final interview call.
Interview.
So let's deep dive into what usually includes in product management interview.
Okay, so different companies have like different ways of interviewing the candidate. If you're lucky, it could be two interviews with one panel and one with the director, and then they choose you. That panel could have like four different people interviewing you. That's like you're lucky.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
usually, product interviews can be 6 rounds.
Right.
It could be anything from like estimation questions, like I think one of the questions that were randomly asked to me in one of the interviews was, "Hey, can you tell me how many balls can fit into a school bus?" So,
Wow.
yeah. So, but actually, if you don't get nervous and you think and you kind of analyze, even without the whole prep, if you logically go over it, you will still have the answer. But many people freak out and they're like, oh my God, what do I do? And then you wouldn't be able to
And
tell.
the answer is really not, you
They
if
don't
you
care
do
about the
1
number.
lakh, 2 lakhs, 200,000,
Yeah.
500, doesn't matter. How
Yeah.
you got to the answer, how you're solving that problem, that
So
is the
true.
key.
So
So
true. Yes. Estimation questions was one round, definitely. Behavioral, like multiple rounds with
right.
multiple people. And I think I was simultaneously, as I was interviewing for multiple companies, I kind of had answers in my head for all kind of
Mm.
situations.
And I just want to emphasize for the behavioral question, yeah, like the STAR technique which you
Yes,
mentioned, it's the situation, task, action,
action
result.
result.
And what Tejaswani just said, like she has answered prepared, which is basically the questions they will ask you, like describe a situation where you had a conflict with your engineer
Co-worker or
and you didn't agree on a solution.
yes,
How would you convince them? So
yes,
now in this situation
situation.
you have to have a story ready, that okay, there was a case, we were working on a project and my team member did not agree on this solution. So then this is a situation, then the task was like we did this, then the action was this, and the
This
result
the
was
result
that.
was this. Yes.
So yeah, so those are like behavior question. And yeah, typically like breaking down the interview, depending on the company, some are 2 rounds. Typically it'll be a recruiter call. First call
Yes.
will always be
Always be.
recruiter,
Yes.
and then usually it's 2 rounds, which one will be, again,
Maybe a
depending on
panel.
your product management role, it could be
Yes.
very technical, because
Oh
I've
yes.
been asked system design question as
Yes.
well, like
Yes.
draw, like design a system for a parking lot. I was like, I'm a product manager, why would I have to design that? But anyway,
Yeah. True.
so
True.
it depends on the company.
Yes.
And like you said, it could be 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds.
So as I was preparing for Amazon, I also I read like through this one book. I'll link it or I'll send you the link to that book. That really
Mm,
helped me because
mm,
like the thought patterns or whatever story
right.
that I was trying to convey, after reading that book, I could structure it better. So once I prepared for Amazon, cracking other companies, I felt was easier.
Yeah. Yeah. And the point which I was driving is like all these companies have values. So prepare for those values as well, because
Yes.
they are going to see how your answers align to those values. Like, do
True.
you, because Salesforce has sustainability, they believe in
Yes.
sustainability a lot. Are your answers going to rely, like, does it do that? They believe in family and culture a lot.
Yes.
So how are you going to answer your structure? So, and then Twitter has, like, leadership round, they have communication round, they have stakeholder management round.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's mainly behavioral, less technical, very
Yes.
less technical.
Depends on the role. If you're going to be a TPM, then I think it's
Mm.
completely
Yeah,
technical.
TPM is
And yeah.
technical program manager, for those of you who didn't know.
Yes. I also had like a presentation round in most of the product interviews,
Mm.
like to
Mm.
check if you're a good communicator, because as a product manager, that skill is very essential.
Yeah.
Number one is prioritization. You need to know how to prioritize.
Mm.
Second is communication. You should be so good at communication. Not just it does. You don't have to be an introvert or extrovert to do that. Just whatever you think, you have to put it in paper or talk that clearly. That is essential.
Yes, reach out to people before your interview.
Really helps, yes. And there are so many people who would actually help you. To at least they obviously won't tell you the questions, but they will kind of, you'll, after talking to them, you'll be like, okay, I'm more confident. I think I
Mm.
can
Yeah.
attend that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another, I mean, this is probably the most important question for everybody. How much money do product marketing managers make? I mean, give me
So
the salary range. Yeah.
I think anywhere between 110 to 200K.
I will say it's obviously based on the cities. Like
Yes, of course.
if
Yes.
you are in sunny Buffalo, you are not going to make 200K because it's a village.
Yes, yes.
Or
So, okay,
yeah,
so then if you see all that put together, I can say 100 or
yeah,
95
like
to,
80, it can start with 80, because
yes,
smaller cities will have less. Like Austin might not have that much, but like Boston, San Francisco will go
yes,
up to 140, 150. So
true.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Let's dive into your specific role. What is product marketing manager? What do they do,
Sure.
or
Okay.
what do you do?
So what I essentially do as a product manager, the role is product manager, but essentially I'm in charge for like training, change management, and marketing of the application launches that happen in these DCs, like distribution
Mhm.
centers. Also, I work in the grocery distribution center network. So in my role, like I have to partner with other product owners to curate like e-learning modules for the associates who work at these DCs. Like in layman terms, if I have to explain, like inside these DCs or distribution centers, there are going to be people who receive goods, load goods, and they're going to be using certain devices to do those, right? Nobody's doing everything just manually, in the sense,
Mm.
although it's like pick and drop, there are certain devices that they use to calculate how much space is required, or to measure the goods, and like, so for those products, there are going to be software updates, or there's
Mm.
even going to be new products that are launched in these distribution centers. And as a product marketing manager, I'm responsible for kind of understanding the need of those associates to make work easier for them. Like, so if suppose there's going to be an update that will actually drastically change their workload, I will try to bring that into the picture. So,
Mm.
and then I will track. We have like different measures like net promoter score, and like we will have to track that and try to understand if this was actually a good idea. That's
Mm.
something I do. And the other thing I do is, if there's an update or like a new feature that's coming along, I'm somebody who's responsible for communicating that change to the entire network and to all the managers. So that's also part of my job. So that's why I say, when I'm a product manager, although I use all these tools, it's more of like a marketing role,
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And even in marketing role, there's like so many areas of product marketing because Walmart, I mean, yours is
true.
specific to supply chain.
And this is internal marketing, which is
Right.
new to me also,
Correct.
but I'm loving it. Like, I
Yeah.
always thought I would end up in like an exterior like kind
Mm,
of role,
mm,
and I did not know if I would enjoy this when I initially joined, but
mm.
I love it.
Everybody wants to know, is there programming involved for this role?
No.
Or else you wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
uh,
So when there is a requirement for a change, I'll be the one communicating that change, and the programmer or the system engineer who I work with
mm.
will code it for me, and then it'll come back to me, and then I tell them that, hey, we made this change, yay. It's my
Yeah. I have two follow-up questions. Number one
sure.
is, what are some of the skills now that you've been working for like 5 months or
Months.
so?
Yes.
What are the skills you think that people should build when they want to become product marketing manager or product manager? Because you
Yes.
probably learned all those skills while on the job. What are
Sure.
some of those skills?
Number one is, every day in the morning when you wake up, you're going to have like an inbox full of emails from different product owners, and you'll have so many tasks ongoing, right? You
Yeah.
need to know which to prioritize. So until now, even in your jobs, I mean, even I do have a manager, but at the same time, as a product manager, you are more responsible to kind of figure out, if you do this today, will you actually meet the deadline? And
Yeah.
you have to decide it not just for you, but also for your teammates, like if
Mm,
you're involved in a task together. Prioritization, number one,
mm,
as I already mentioned.
yes.
And number two is clear communication, because you'll be working with many stakeholders. It's not just within your team. Like, I currently work with three or more teams, right?
Mm,
And they're all like sister teams under the same management. So at the same time, I have to respect their space and time, and kind of like schedule meetings, time management, very, very important, and communication. That's why I say, like, the way you ask them for, like, their time, or even if there's an update, immediately making sure that it's reaching the DCs. Communication, very, very important. And third one, I think I already mentioned it, but like management of time, because you might be overwhelmed. There'll
yeah.
be so many tasks, but
Yeah.
if you break it down and do like one per day, or assign it by hour, which I learned during my master's, biggest experience ever.
Right. And
Very.
also, product managers are supposed to be self-organized. Like,
Yes.
there's not gonna be someone who's gonna micromanage you. You have
Yes.
to manage yourself. So
Self.
that's why you need to manage your time. Like, and I think relationship building is also
Of
another
course.
one, because you're not doing the work, you are actually making people do the work, which you
Work,
would want
yes.
them to do it. So,
Important point. Yeah.
yeah,
But you were also responsible to get the work done, right?
correct.
Because
Yeah,
you
you
can't
are
go to
the
your manager and be
right.
like, oh, he didn't do it. I am supposed to get that person,
Yeah,
like,
they are not gonna go to the
uh,
engineers and ask
yeah.
them the question. They're gonna go to product manager, like, where is your
Yes.
product, or why did you not
Exactly.
get delivered? So you are supposed big, and it's also escalation. Like, if
Of
your
course.
engineers are not working or you are not getting responses, you need to
Escalate.
escalate it. That
Yes.
okay, this is not working. Another question was, what I mean, you are already have proven it, but I get so many people who feel that they are nervous. They think that they cannot become product manager because they don't have experience, because
Oh,
they feel they're gonna, like, they feel imposter syndrome, like how am I gonna get it?
right.
What, like, do you think people without product management experience can become a product manager?
Of course they can. And multiple people from my batch who did not have prior experience in product are in product. So I can say for sure. And if I have to like talk to them personally to actually put them in their heads, I'm more than willing. Please don't give up. I know it's a taxing journey and there's so much to prepare, but I think with the materials that I mentioned, it is definitely possible. I'm always like, both of us are always there for you to like come and ask questions to. And I can say for sure that you will definitely crack it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we both are live example. Like, I did not have any project management experience, zero, and I got it. When we
Yes,
say it's possible, I'm saying that it is possible. Not doesn't mean, don't convert that
of
word
course.
possible into easy.
Yes, yes,
Right,
correct.
because
Good
yeah,
nuance.
you can get it, but you still have to work hard. You will have,
True.
because you're competing with so many people who already have product management experience, and they are also applying to the same role where
Yes,
you are also applying to the same role. So
yes.
yeah, it's possible, but not necessarily easy, but it's also not like something which you cannot do it.
Cannot do.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And
um
also adding on, keep your LinkedIn updated is an important point that I missed. Anything you do, you win a prize, add it to your LinkedIn. You got an award, add it to your LinkedIn. If it's anything close to product that you're working on, even if it's incomplete, add it and add saying that you're working on this. Because when you actively are telling people about something that you're working on, I think that will definitely add value to your profile, resume, and also to your audience and convert to interviews. It helped
yeah,
me.
and I'll go ahead and say, even today, I mean, I don't know if you do this or not, Tejaswini, but
Hmm.
even today, like, keep a you may not have to do it on LinkedIn, but keep a track of all the things you're working
Yes,
in your company,
of
because
course.
you will forget after 3 years what you did on the first year. So all the things you have accomplished, all the achievements you have, note it down, so that way when you can keep updating your profile. Before we end the call, what's the one advice would you give to people, to an aspiring product manager, or to a student who's studying right now masters?
I would go with your tagline. Hustle, guys. Keep hustling.
Keep hustling, keep smiling.
Keep
Nice.
hustling. Keep smiling.
Love it. I love
Yeah.
it. That's
Don't
awesome.
give up, kind of a thing.
Yeah, work hard, don't give up,
Yes.
keep your head above, be humble. So,
Rejections will come, but so will successes. So just
mm,
keep going.
yeah.
Yeah.
Based on your journey, do you think, like, is it worth pursuing master? Like, what is your ROI? Like, do you feel like people will be able to pay off the education cost they are investing?
Yes, so that I will say it is totally based on the course, number of years, financial background, and also like their own amount of effort they put into the course, right? Because I do know people who've also not like secured jobs, but at the
Mm,
same time have paid back their loans because they secured jobs. So I think it's a very person dependent thing, and course and university oriented thing. So I can't speak for everyone, right?
right. Awesome. Thank you again. This was so much fun. I did not expect to go 15 minutes long. I thought it's going to be 20 minutes, but all the information we covered was super powerful and very informational. I'm pretty sure I'm going to bring you back. So until our next one.
Aw. Keep smiling and keep hustling, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. This is awesome. Love it.